Hello, this is a pseudonym Shane Ricard, and I'm doing a presentation for Biology Book 10 on the leukocytes, an antiquated term for white blood cells, they're now called leukocytes. The researchers I use, to be funny, in the 1800s, something like this. Your musty pages. Alright, this presentation will be oddly unorganized, but let's get started. So white blood cells. Let me give you an example of white blood cell. Eosinophil granulocyte. 1 to 6% of your white blood cell count, found in the medulla, thymus, can be found in lymph nodes, your spleen. One of two categories of white blood cells. This comes from the Journal of Leukocyte Biology. There's a picture of it. There's your irregular shaped nucleus. You have your granule proteins, granulocytes. Have to develop those granulocytes because of antimicrobial proteins. These develop in your bone marrow. Removes fibrin during inflammation. And it's a terminal effector of allergic responses, and it's useful for parasite removal. It has APC antigen responsive cells, GM-CSF, there's granulocyte colony stimulated factor, activated with the eosinophil response in mice infected with mesocytosis corti, and develops immunity to Strongyloides stercoralis in mice. ScienceDaily.com. Vaccine and Gene Therapy Institute. That's the source. White blood cells literally eat viral infected cells and fight disease. CD8 plus T cells, also known as killer cells, cannibalize and consume the membranes and outer surfaces of a virally infected cell. To do this, killer CD8 plus T cells ingest these viral cells for fuel to keep on fighting. Kind of like soldiers pillaging a village, getting resources, getting ready for another conflict, so they can take on the foreigners. And nom nom nom. DiscoverBiotech.com. That's a source for this picture. My webcam would stop lagging. There's your killer T cell. There's the granules. There's your infected cell, which eventually results in a dead virus. Not a very specific picture. If it was in GIF format, or if there was a short video depicting how your killer T cell, CD8 plus, maybe another form, maybe it would make more sense than just a still image. White blood cells, antiquated term, leukocytes. Nowadays it's called a leukocyte, and there's two groups. Group A You have single nucleus, clear cytoplasm, and developed within the lymphatic system. Yeah, lymphatic system. Lymphatic tissue, your thymus, your spleen. Group B is going to have an incomplete nucleus or a regular nucleus, and the cytoplasm is going to contain granules for application of dyes when experimenting with these white blood cells of Group B. Group A, you're going to have your lymphocytes and your monocytes. Like I said before, they're going to develop in lymphatic tissue, your thymus, your spleen, anything dealing with the lymphatic system. Lymphatic system being one of the many different systems. I mean, you have lymphatic, you have respiratory, you have your nervous, you have your urinary, you have your reproductive system. Lymphatic is just one of those systems. Group B, these white blood cells are going to develop in red bone marrow, and you have neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils. And I think these are more your granulocytes, whereas in Group A is your lymphocytes. I believe it's this textbook, but it claims even if a leukocyte, even if it phagocytizes a pathogenic agent, the agent isn't necessarily fully eradicated, but instead they can multiply within the white blood cell and eventually it'll disseminate. And I'll review on the eosinophil. Eosinophils will there will be a higher count in response to trichinosis or hookworm. Biology. Here's one of my antiquated textbooks, but it provides an example of consumption of pathogenic bacteria. Here you have your leukocyte and your streptococcus bacteria, courtesy of Charles Pfizer and Company. Just to give them credit. I had little pictures from this textbook right here. I'm assuming what's inside could be lysosomes used to ingest whatever's phagocytized. And you have your neutrophil and your eosinophil. Like I said before, irregular size nuclei, strangely shaped, and all the dots are the granules. Knowlton and Company. Will be this textbook. As you can see, even though these are antiquated textbooks, they don't have as detailed information on these white blood cells as Wikipedia might have. I know Wikipedia has a very bad reputation, but it depends on the citations. If only they had moderators and nobody to edit articles. That would be nice. Okay, lymphocytes to plasma cells. Plasma cells produce antibodies in response to antigens. Antibodies are globulin proteins that support active immunity, which is probably another antiquated term. They're probably trying to refer to the adaptive immune system. But yeah, I mentioned before fibrin, which comes in during inflammation for a natural killer or eosinophil response. It's an insoluble protein, which might be bad for the body. And besides phagocytosis from these white blood cells, there's also degranulation, and these come from the granulocytes. Group B, they're going to release various proteins with antimicrobial properties. An example is the neutrophils granulocyte, which releases azurophilic granules, which is its primary response to foreign material. And that's my disorganized, throw everything around presentation. Past 11 minutes, but I'm willing to take the penalty. Thank you for your time.